Hey everybody, my name is McKinney, and we're coming on today with the Amped Up podcast. I have my two co-hosts here. You see Miss Plump Queen.
Hey, how y'all
All
doing?
right, hey, all right. We got Brother Jared over there. Okay,
How's
we
it going, guys?
both of these people here are from New York. I'm a down south brother, but so we rocking north and south right now, putting it together.
Sir, yes, sir.
Anyway, today we're going to be discussing amputees. I'm an amputee. Miss Plump Queen is an amputee. My brother Jared is an amputee, and we all have different stories and different ways that we became amputees. So we're going to discuss that a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about our stories and the feelings associated with being an amputee, and also some of our accomplishments or whatever. So I would like to start with you, Miss Plump Queen. Can you give us a synopsis of your story, your great story, and tell us some of your accomplishments since being an amputee and or whatnot?
Sure thing. Hi, y'all. I'm Plum Queen. May 27th, 2007, I was in a car accident. A friend of mine, she fell asleep while driving. We were in New York. And the short version of it is I woke up like this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything, see anything, feel anything. I just woke up in the hospital, and the nurses had to let me know that my arm was gone.
Okay.
My initial thought process, I was just happy that I was alive. So I was happy about that. And I was actually looking for my friend, at first. Healing was really easy for me. By July, I was at my brother's wedding. You know what I'm saying? So, I was rather young. So I guess my healing process went pretty really fast.
Okay.
But my biggest thing was, getting my emotions together and finding my purpose. I believe that is the true purpose of me losing my arm. I was supposed to find myself and, figure out what it is I'm supposed to do here and what I'm saying, in this life.
Okay.
And that turned into what I have going on right now. I'm an avid podcast creator. I
Okay.
started going live in 2018, telling my story,
Okay.
and I'm very opinionated. So
Okay.
I was giving my thought processes and my opinions on specific topics.
Right.
Especially,
Right. Okay.
and so that became a success. People started to listen to me.
Okay.
So my parents told me that I should start a YouTube and I should start thinking business wise and, really, making this my career.
Okay.
So I did, started an LLC. So I'm now the CEO of Ampspire Media LLC.
Okay.
Uh,
Congratulations.
thank you so much.
Right. Hmm.
Then the pandemic hit, and I had to do some reevaluating. And I
Okay.
also started, to become financially literate, learning about business and how money works and how that's going to correlate with what I'm doing.
Right.
And then from there, I acquired a streaming channel on Roku, which is named Ampspire Media Network, and that's launching on my birthday in 2 weeks, April 9th.
Check out Empire Media Network.
Please do. Please do.
Right. Hmm.
Absolutely. I should definitely
Right.
check that out.
Uh-huh.
So that's like the short version of it. I
Okay.
just pretty much use losing my arm as a way to inspire people and to help people get through their own adversities. I'm a
Okay.
walking example that something tragic can happen to you and you can make a life out of it. So if I can do it, y'all can do it. So that's
I have
really
a
what
I,
my
I have a
platform is
question for you. There was something that you said that was very interesting. You said that there was a purpose for you becoming an amputee. Could you expound on that a little bit?
I honestly believe that losing my arm, I had to have that happen to me so I can build this.
Wow, that's awesome.
I was working for an advertising and marketing company. I was doing well. I was only there for 2 months, but I was doing well. I've
Okay.
always been an entrepreneur. I've always been a worker. So, and I have a lot of talents, but I was going to be giving those talents to other people. I
Right.
was going to be working someone else's business. So I was going, what I'm saying, wasting
Right.
my, not, no offense to 9 to 5ers and all that, do y'all thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to offend
Right.
nobody, but
Yeah, I heard that.
my purpose, wasn't to do that. I was supposed
Okay.
to be able to reach, people and again use my image, my thoughts, you know what I'm saying, to help others,
Right.
find their path. So had
Right.
I not lost my arm, I wouldn't have been doing this. I'd have been doing a whole lot of other things. So
Wow.
it's kind of put me in a
Okay.
position to sit down, and I also learned a
Okay.
lot about myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, and I'm using
Okay.
all those things to help others find the same thing.
Wow. So that's almost saying that losing your arm helped you move into the divine in a way.
Absolutely.
Wow. I
Absolutely.
get that. I get that. Wow. Man, that's awesome. Also, could you tell us some of the accomplishments and from before you was an amputee, now that when you became an amputee, some of the things that you accomplished during this time or after this time?
Well, like I said, I have an LLC. I own my own business. I have a
Okay.
streaming network that I own. But
Okay.
my biggest accomplishments is breaking my generational curses in my family.
All right. Now we're talking. Okay.
You know, breaking my insecurities and my issues, my
Okay.
childhood traumas, addressing those things.
Okay.
Those are my biggest accomplishments because I'm making a difference in my family. I'm now being a representation, you know what I'm saying, of what, our future is going to be. But I
Okay.
had to lose my arm to do that. I had to be able to sit down and actually look around and see these things because when you're working a 9 to 5, having children, being married and all those things,
Yes.
you lose sight of that because you're
I
worrying
get it.
about taking care of yourself. I had all the time in the world to sit down and find out internal things that I have going on
Okay.
and figuring that out. And now I'm setting an example to my cousins and
That's
their children.
awesome.
So
That's
that's
awesome.
my biggest accomplishment.
Right. I thank you for sharing that. Because I know there are many amputees out there, such as us, that some have a different look on life, and some are kind of down on themselves right now for one reason or another. And it always helps to be able to look to someone in your same situation that have overcame that to kind of help them with their mindset of overcoming.
That's my
Um,
purpose. That's what I'm
thank
here to show. That's what I'm here to show people. Anything I can do, you can do. We all have our talents. We all have a purpose, and it's
Okay.
not to go work a 9 to 5.
Right.
That's not what.
That's a
That's not your
reoccurring theme, Jared.
purpose. Sorry, y'all, but that is not why y'all here. Here y'all on this podcast, though. See,
Yeah, hey,
Right.
I
I
get
feel
it.
like this is a part of your purpose too, to put your stories out there and do that. And
Right.
yeah, so you're
You,
on. I feel like y'all on y'all way to finding y'all.
you're exactly right because it isn't about happen chance that this thing was put together. We met, decided to get together and do this thing. I don't believe that it's by happen chance. It's divine intervention.
Absolutely, no
I
coincidence.
honestly believe that, and because the thing I like about us is that we're all different.
Oh yeah,
We're all different, and that's what makes this so interesting. And just say again, I might be potato, you might be beans, Jared, you might be ground beef. Alone, they're great, but together they make a great soup. Also,
Yes,
do
they
you see
do.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ingredients.
yeah. The
Absolutely.
differences,
More like some bacon. More
There you
like some bacon. Yeah.
don't say bacon around this.
No parts of that bacon.
No,
No parts of that now.
no.
Put
We
the
all
bacon
know
on the side.
that. Yeah. Just for the record, Miss Plump Queen is very health conscious.
Trying to stay alive out here in these streets. Trying to stay
Yeah.
alive.
Hey, that's one of her greats. She's trying to stay alive out here. So listen, Jared. Again, this is Jared. It's the other co-host, Mr. Jared over there. Mr. Jared, could you tell me a little bit about your experience as being an amputee, and give me your story about maybe what happened to you and feelings associated with it, maybe before and after.
All right. Um. Well, I obviously wasn't born like this. I had an accident. There was a chainsaw. I was actually went over to a friend's house. I was helping him cut down a huge branch out of a tree,
Okay.
and I got up inside the tree and I was cutting through, and when it broke, the limb came down onto the end. We didn't trim back the branches, so it landed on the branches, moved
Okay.
over, and then came back and like flicked me out of the tree like an ant.
Wow.
Um, so I was flying through the air holding the running saw. I knew I had to get rid of it, otherwise it might hit me in the head. So when I chucked it, it hit my foot.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it. Wasn't like the foot didn't come off. It was a deep cut. It got infected in the bone. So I was in the hospital about 6.5 weeks. They were trying to save it for the first 3, and it was too far gone. So the doc told me, he's like, I can take all the infected bones out and leave you with a limp noodle, or we can take it, halfway up your shin, give you a proper height for a good fit of a prosthetic, and you could, walk the rest of your life. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So get rid of it, So yeah, I'm a below the knee amputee on my left leg. But when I was in the hospital, laying there in a bed, couldn't do anything, my thought process was, one of those things where, I can overcome pretty much anything, but at the same time, the one thing that brought a tear to my eye was trying to figure out how to provide for my family and my kids and stuff, that kind of thing. That was what would bring a tear, like just laying there. I didn't feel sorry for myself, but it was like, how am I going to move forward and provide, and that was what brought it on, and when I got out, it just I kind of got back into the swing of things. I went back to work on crutch a few months later, even before I got my prosthetic. A very understanding boss, and I was sitting in the chair most of the time anyways, so I could just hobble over, sit down, and do my job. So it was good. Probably about I was within a year, I actually went and got a motorcycle, and I with my foot on the left leg, that's where your shifter is if you haven't ridden a motorcycle. So I found one that had electronic shifter. It was electric solenoid, and it would pull up or down for you. I had 2 buttons on the handlebars.
Wow.
So I could throw my leg over this thing and shift through the gears with my thumb. And I rode that sucker for like 6 years. I had to sell it. I got laid off of work, so I had to sell it. But when I was on that bike, it was kind of like the freedom feeling again. Only this time, it was way more than just feeling free on a motorcycle, because I was doing the same stuff I was before the leg.
I see.
So yeah, it was a total different feeling. But I used to volunteer at the hospitals. I go up and I talk to people that were about to have an amputation, or maybe have gone through it and were laying there. But I would ride the bike up to the hospital, and then I'd go in to talk to them in the rooms, and I'm sitting there with a motorcycle jacket, helmet under my arm, and they had no idea why I was there. I was standing there with shorts on, but they didn't look down. They just saw some weird guy with a helmet, like, why is he here? And I told them I'm here to talk to him about the amputee. They looked down, and then it would be like, well, he rode here, like, there is life after that. So it was pretty cool. It was like a walking testament to life after, that kind of thing. Like, you can keep going, that sort of thing. But that was cool.
Okay.
No.
Go ahead, man. I'm listening.
You good, Jack? Because I can't even ride a regular bike, so you Gucci.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's super Gucci. I was wondering, how did you
I got both my legs, so you good.
How did you find a bike that would? How would you able to find a bike that would accommodate you like that?
Well, I knew what parts that I needed. Kind of a gearhead. So I did know that if I was going to buy a motorcycle, I'd have to buy a certain kit to put on it. And I was looking for a specific bike in mind when I was looking. And I actually found one. I'm in upstate New York, and I found one down in Pennsylvania. And the guy was selling it, and he already had it on there. And I was just like, wow, okay, was looking for a certain price range, and then I would have had to add, say, $1,000 for this whole system. It was a big system hooked into the computer and all that kind of stuff. And this guy was asking, basically $1,000 more than what my price range was. And I was like, I don't have to buy it. I don't have to put it on. It's already there.
I got
Me and a friend, we drove down to Pennsylvania. I threw a leg over it. I drove it home. It was great.
Right. So let me ask you, the feelings associated with being an amputee, the emotional things you've gained from being an amputee. Could you guys kind of touch on that a little bit?
Emotional, I'm not really quite sure what you mean
Well,
here.
I mean, we talked about a lot of the outside accomplishments. I mean, some of the inside accomplishments. That's what I mean. Emotion have to
Okay.
strengthen you in any way, after becoming an amputee in some areas in your life.
Yeah. For me, I think it was just the knowledge of being able to like overcome.
Okay,
Um, stuff like grabbing that motorcycle and being able to ride it again. That was,
that's huge.
that was huge for me. Yeah,
Right,
exactly. And it was
right,
like, okay, if I can do this,
right.
I can handle, normal life or whatever, like that kind of that help boost that feeling.
I
Um,
get
when we first got out of the hospital, one of the things they told me was to take like a journal and write down stuff that you did. Like,
right.
day one it might be got out of bed and used the bathroom. Day
Yeah,
two it might be went to the kitchen, made a peanut butter sandwich. You know,
right.
and
Yes,
then here you are 3 months later walking around on a prosthetic. You look at that journal and say, "Wow, I really came somewhere. I was excited to make a
right.
sandwich."
I get
Like
it.
that. You know.
I get it. That's
Um,
awesome, man.
so yeah, little steps like that. Every time you do something, it feels like an accomplishment, but um, it boosts your confidence. It's a confidence booster as you go. You
Okay.
realize you can keep going. So
And you, Miss Plump Queen?
Just like Jared said, like, yeah, doing the little things, it showed me just how strong that I really am. So a
Hmm.
lot of the doubts that I had in myself, me being able to conquer those little things. I don't know if I could say this on your platform, but
You
like,
can say what you want to say.
well, I learned how to roll a blunt. You know, you know what I'm saying?
I just said, okay.
It taught me that
Yeah.
whatever it is that you want in this life,
Right.
you can absolutely do. Anything you put your mind to, you can
Right.
figure out
I
if you
like
want to
that.
figure it out.
I like that.
So I learned how to do that. I clothe myself, bathe like I live alone. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? So I take care of myself, literally. I'm not even handicapped enough to get home attendance.
Right.
So
Right.
I have to cook for myself. I have to
Okay.
clean for myself. So
Right.
it taught me a lot of things about me. It showed me just how clean I am.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because even with 5 fingers, my house is the cleanest apartment in my building.
Oh wow. I wouldn't doubt that at all. I wouldn't doubt it at all. Mm-mm.
Man, cleanliness is next to godliness. I don't care how
Exactly.
many gyms I lose. That's always gonna stand. You know what I'm saying? So I
I
had to
get
figure
it.
that out. So it really definitely, like you said, it boosts your confidence. It truly
Right.
makes you understand um just how powerful you are, and it gives
Yes.
you a sense of respecting and being grateful for the little things,
Right.
because a
So
lot of people take for granted the little things that they can do with them 2 hands, like putting a hair in my ponytail.
right.
I gotta figure out things to do my hair. So
Right.
women, they take that for granted.
Yeah.
Tying your shoe,
Right.
putting on
Oh,
your bra, you
yeah.
take those things for granted until
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, you temporarily can't do it. So that taught me to never doubt myself, and now
Okay.
just know there's just a way to figure it out.
I got you, man. Thank you for that. I also want to delve into it's something that I've never dealt with that I can't understand, and I want to talk about a little bit. Could you guys tell me a little bit about phantom pain?
Uh,
yeah, all right. you
Yeah.
you want to go first? You want?
I'm gonna let
I,
you.
Yeah.
okay, all
All
right,
right,
that's
yeah,
fine.
go ahead,
All
Jared.
right.
Go
All
ahead,
right. Work it
Jared.
out.
Go ahead, Jared.
No, I mean, for me, I'm about 10 years out from my
Right.
amputation.
Okay.
And you do get used to it. And for me, the really, really crazy stuff doesn't happen anymore. I
Right.
feel like my foot's still there, and I can actually feel the spot where the wound was, where the saw hit.
Uh-huh.
It feels like it's there because that was the last thing that my brain remembers feeling. You
Right.
know, um, so I feel like there's constant steady pressure right where that wound is, but that's pretty much all I'm getting right now. When I first got out of the hospital, there was a lot of crazy stuff,
Right.
um, because it was very, very fresh. Your brain doesn't know what to feel, so it just makes something up,
Right.
and you're
I,
left with whatever you're left with.
I get
Um,
it.
I was driving to work one day, and it felt like blood was going up my leg against gravity, like the wrong direction.
Oh,
It just
wow.
felt like it was crawling up toward my knee. It was very weird.
Okay.
Just little crazy stuff, the way it was explained to me was, obviously your nerves and nerve endings are where you feel things, and the nerve endings of your fingers or whatnot.
Right.
When it's not there, your brain sends a signal, it finds nothing, and so it goes back empty, and your brain turns it into whatever it feels like. So that was the way it was explained to me.
Okay.
So basically your brain can invent whatever it wants, and you think it's real for a little bit.
Okay.
One of the tricks that I was taught or told to do was to look at a mirror, and like if I'm standing in front of a mirror, you look down and you see that the leg is gone or whatnot, and your brain then has to process it and remember that it's not there. And a lot of times it'll help the phantom pain stop or go away, or at least reduce it.
Okay.
It's called mirror therapy. It's actually something out there. Like people are taught that.
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't hear about it though, and it's very simple. A lot of people have mirrors in their house. Just go look in one. Maybe it'll help. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's worth a shot. Like
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's just it's like giving a quick brain reset.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Quick brain reset, and I can see how that could work or whatnot. But have not experienced kind of pain, and I'm puzzled by it.
Me too. That's why I wanted him to go first.
Right.
Because, I've never had phantom pain.
Okay.
My arm doesn't hurt. Now I have a phantom sensation, like we're talking about it now, so I can feel my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know when we're talking about it and it's in the forefront of my mind,
Mm-hmm.
I can start to feel, my fingers. So my interpretation of it, because no one's ever really told me anything about it, I kind of just came up with my own synopsis.
Right.
Like you said, your brain has nerve endings. So just because our arm is gone, it doesn't mean that the nerves has been snatched out of our brain. It's still connected, to your brain. So those nerve endings are still technically connected to your fingers, the way that they were. So I can feel my hand right now.
Wow.
And this is what I'm doing too. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm making my fingers do this. Here we go.
And you feel that sensation as if your hand was there.
Exactly. And I'm it's almost like I'm telling my hand to move, and it's kind of doing it. So I don't know where the pain comes from. Now I'm going to assume because I wasn't awake for my accident.
Okay.
So I didn't feel it being ripped off or anything like that. I don't have any recollection mentally, you know what I'm saying, of that. So it's not painful. It's just a sensation that I can feel. And also we have an etheric body. I'm about to get deep on y'all.
Okay.
How I believe.
Go ahead.
We're not these bodies. We are our souls. We are, we're in the inside. So it's almost like that's your etheric body.
Okay.
So there's that sensation that you're feeling because your arm technically, ethically is still there. It's just the skin part. It's just the physical of it. It's not.
Right.
So that's why you can still feel it. And almost like when I meditate, I can see my arm glowing. I can see like this glowing sensation of it when I meditate.
Right.
As if it's still there, but just again, the physical, it's just not there to represent.
Transparent.
Yes, almost like it's transparent.
Oh wow,
that's the best way that I can describe it.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now I'm noticing something here. Jared, his accident is he can remember the pain associated with the accident. Your situation, you wasn't familiar with any pain.
No.
So I'm noticing the difference from one to the other. Jared feeling the phantom pain, and you don't, because maybe your mind never associated the pain.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Your mind creates. Your mind perceives everything. That's how you feel. It sends the signals up to your brain, and then your brain calculates it to figure out what that is. So that makes absolute sense.
Guys, I was
awake the whole time.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I was awake the whole time, man.
Yeah.
Are you my hero?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I tell people all the time, this was a thing, but I wasn't awake for it. So as far as I'm concerned, I got it good.
I want to. You were awake during the process. I mean, when you got to the hospital and
Well, no, what I woke up and I didn't know it was gone. The only thing that
okay,
I felt was when they had to put a wound back on my arm to
okay,
suck out the debris because my arm was off
yeah,
during the
Mhm.
accident.
right.
So they needed to take the glass and debris and they needed to try to get all of that stuff out before they sewed me up so I wouldn't get an infection.
I got it, man.
Now here's a weird story about that.
Right.
Within the past 10 years, twice I've had glass come out of my skin on the other side of my body.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a
So it's
minute.
almost like again, I guess you can't, they can't, what's the word I'm looking for? Guarantee to suck out everything. Like I was
Mhm.
on a
Okay.
wound back for like 3 days or something like that.
Right.
So I'm going to assume some glass or shards or whatever was still in there.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
want to say 5 years later,
Okay.
I had this scratching sensation in my arm right over here. Every
Okay.
time I would rub my arm against my side, it would cut me.
Really?
Yeah, and I could not understand what it was. And I'm like,
Okay.
what is this? So
Right.
I saw something coming out, and I had my man take some tweezers to figure it out, and it was a piece of glass
Oh,
expelling itself. It took it 5 years to work its way all the way over here.
oh my
So
God.
expel
Yeah,
itself. With foreign things in your body is made to push it out. That's
I
why
got
you
you.
get pimples and all that
Right.
stuff. Whatever's not supposed to
Yeah.
be there is going to push it out. So it took it
Okay.
5 years to work its way somewhere to find itself
Wow.
an opening, and that
Wow.
happened to me twice.
And God bless you, Plum Queen. I think you guys are awesome, man. I swear.
You saying, but what about you? You were
I'm,
amputee
Yeah.
too. What's your story? Tell
I'm
us your
about to tell
story. What's
you,
up?
Well,
as my
you're
I'm
not
about
done.
to tell my story, but I'm expecting you guys to maybe ask me a few questions.
Okay.
There you
Right
go.
now, tell us
So,
your story, McKenna.
All right.
so
Make it about us.
I'm gonna start with let me take my hat off for this.
All right.
Oh, there you go. I like the haircut, man. I like the
Yeah,
haircut.
This is
you're
perfect.
right.
You got balls
That's
on
right.
the side and throw in the middle. That works.
Right. Hey, it's an amputee thing.
That's right.
Right. But yeah, the reason I don't familiarize with any phantom pain is because I was born an amputee. So when I was born, I have 3 fingers on this side, 2 on this side, and I was born with no right limb.
Wow.
So when I grew up, I couldn't basically play a lot of baseball, football, the things of that nature. So that put me in a spot where I was very observant. So I started to learn how to deal with what I started to look at people and I started to kind of understand how they move, you see. And then at that point, it kind of as I grew up, uh, I wanted to fit in really bad. So also, you know, I was considered the kid. A lot of my friends never said anything about me being an amputee because I never portrayed myself that way. If
Mm,
you get,
yeah.
uh, I would hop on one leg. Maybe I could hop for blocks, and I would hop, and then I would go down to the this pool, and I swim like a fish right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. I was kind of like the man from Atlantis, if y'all remember him. But
Okay. Okay. I got you.
yeah, but anyway, at any rate, my mom she was very worried about me, and I was just wasn't the type to sit around and feel sorry for myself. I can't say that. I just kind of say that that was something that God put in me to kind of be very resilient, to kind of to defy the odds and say that's what I see. Me and Plump have kindred spirits in that aspect because she's very strong. So with that being said, my mom she took me back and forth to Atlanta. I had several surgeries. I didn't use my prosthesis for years because I hopped everywhere. When I got around 12 years old, I started to get a little subconscious about my situation because I was in school. I started looking at girls, so I wanted to wear my prosthesis. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, I still wasn't comfortable enough wearing shorts. I kept my hands in my pocket. You see, those are the things that I had on the inside that I was dealing with. And then, later on, things started manifesting from the outside once I started dealing with what was going on the inside. But anyway, later on, I'm wearing my prosthesis now and moving around a little bit, getting acclimated with it. And so the way that my stomp is when I was born is odd. So I was constantly having to get that changed over because they had to move things around, and I can explain that in another segment. But anyway, so with that being said, I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and none of them were born this way.
Okay.
So automatically, when I started to deal with my woman, this is something that I rarely talk about, but I was actually afraid to have children because I didn't know how they was going to turn out.
I understand.
You see what I'm saying? So, this is the inside stuff that I'm talking about. So, yeah, I was afraid to have kids, man. And, thank God that my lady wasn't.
All right, Miss McKinnon. All right.
But either way, my kids came and my kids came and my son, I tied my shoe. I couldn't teach my son how to tie a shoe because I didn't have everything that he had. So he was tying his shoe the way I tied it, using limited fingers doing it. You know what I mean? But he did it. And I just thank God for those concessions and those accommodations, because there was a lot of things that I just wasn't sure of, man, coming up. Dealing with kids, dealing with a wife, and dealing with my personal subconscious stuff that I'm dealing with that I'm not saying to everybody. You see what I'm saying? Amputees have things on the inside that they don't share with everybody. Absolutely. Yeah, they do. But so I'm not ashamed to say these things. I've been an amputee for 49 years. I'm over that. So I don't have to hide who I am or what I went through or what I was afraid of or what I'm still afraid of now. I don't have to hide that. So by me giving my true, honest testimony from the heart, through these type conversations and situations, we will be actually able to empower other amputees.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, I remember coming home one day, and I loved ice cream. So I learned how to ride a bicycle with one leg. And I was one of the fastest riders out there in my neighborhood.
Oh, you was.
And I was able to, and I was one of the best jokers shoot marbles out there after a while. Yeah. Right. So I remember I got off the bicycle one day and all my friends was out there flipping. So I got home and I started trying to do black flips in the backyard until I figured it out. And I was actually able to flip. From that point, I started taking Kung Fu. And I was actually in tournaments and I was fighting on one leg. And if they weren't careful, I would jump up and kick them in the face and land.
That's right. Fatality in his
Right. This reminds me of a joke about a one-legged guy kicking butt. I don't know. I can't remember the joke now.
Right. There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. Gang. I'm gonna have a squad. They don't want none of this.
Right.
They don't hit a quitter. He got the one kick with it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. So it just feels good now to be able to share my story. with people that have stories without one a fear of being an amputee is nothing to me anymore. I fear judgmental people and people that are that think that are condescending and think they're smarter than everybody. I fear those type people
Well, let me
because
tell you
they
what those people are.
yes because they're go ahead.
Reflection. It's reflection. Anybody that sees anything in you is something that they see in themselves.
Right.
So
I
if
get it.
anybody's bothering you about something, they're either mad because they can't do it,
Right.
or they see that insecurity in themselves. And no one likes really looking in the mirror.
They don't.
They need to get that mirror therapy popping, Jared.
Yeah.
They need to
Yeah,
get
Get that
cool
mirror
with
therapy
that.
out. Get that mirror therapy
Yeah.
out there.
Those are just signs of
Right.
insecurities in themselves.
Okay.
So when you look at it that way, you should have gratitude
There you go.
because you have the strength to get past that, and they're
Right.
upset with that. And instead of asking how, or trying
Right.
to rub off a little bit of your juju, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You mad.
Right.
So
You
you
know,
just
and
keep getting
that's
shine. You just keep doing better. Keep going.
right. And that's the thing is that we have overcome a lot externally,
Mhm.
but Lord forbid we don't talk about the work that's been done internally. I mean, on
That's the most
that real stuff, that stuff that hurts to say.
That's the most important, to be quite
Yeah,
honest, because if you
and
get
that's
the
what this
inside together, you can exude everything on the outside.
right, right. So I'm just not ashamed to say, the feelings that I have had associated with being an amputee. Even now, I have days where I have doubts off and on. I do, and so especially when okay, you was talking about people having everything that God gave them. I can I can honestly say when I see a person that's has two legs, two arms, and they're not jogging or running or whatever, you don't know what I would give to be able to do that.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So when you're looking my way in some kind of way, judging me, and I'm looking at you, and you're not using everything that God gave you. Yeah, I'm looking at you side eye too, like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
A
What are you
daily.
doing?
That's a daily thought for me. I promise you, that's a daily thought for me.
I'm just saying, yeah. So it's important that there's a lot of great stories that need to be told, a lot of great accomplishments and different things that people deal with being an amputee because each one of us have told a different story and associated with different feelings. And I think we're still delving inside of each other, pulling out stuff that we know is there and some things that we don't know. So this is a journey that I'm glad to be on. Again, I think you guys are awesome. And
Reflection.
I do.
Like I just said earlier, you can't see nothing that's not inside of you. So you just like we're awesome. That's because you awesome.
Thank you
Reflection.
so much. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I received that. I received that. Right. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but I received that too.
Sprinkle, sprinkle, all that sprinkle, sprinkle, and all of that.
Okay. But yeah, that's kind of a brief synopsis of my story. So I'm still dealing with some things and still when I say dealing with things, I'm still learning things about me. I'm still learning.
You're growing.
So I know that this is a never-ending journey, and my heart goes out to the amputees that are just beginning this journey. The feelings that are going to be associated with it, not knowing that there is a other side to it that's better.
Absolutely.
So that's the main focus. This podcast is uniting as amputees, helping each other overcome, and withstand the things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and also make the world, the government, and who else aware that amputees are here. We have services we need. We have places that need. We have accommodations that are not done that are needed. So in the future, we're going to be asking for that. So don't forget this first podcast because we're going back to it.
Right.
All right.
So with that being said, that's my story. If you guys have any questions, I'm willing to answer.
I don't think I have questions. We're gonna save those for another time so you can elaborate.
Well, I
'Cause-
got one for you, Mr. Kenny.
Okay.
All right. You said you have your right leg was the one that was missing, right?
Right.
Right leg.
Uh-huh.
Do you drive a car at all?
I do.
Is
I
that
do.
you do? You drive with your left foot?
I had to teach myself to drive a car. I think I almost hit several things during the process.
Well, I'm learning how to drive now, so
Okay.
I can do it. I just need more practice. I got a couple.
What's your challenge with that? What's your challenge with driving?
There's no challenge. I just need practice.
So what do you need to learn? I want to know.
I need to know how to park. I can drive on the highway.
Right.
And it's a fear thing. I need to get comfortable, with it
Oh.
because I'm driving with one arm. And again, people are crazy. People, especially now, I don't know how it is in Atlanta.
Right.
People in Macon don't know how to drive. Sorry, y'all. Y'all don't know how to drive.
Yeah, I got you.
In New York, it takes a lot to get your license. It's real easy to get your license down here.
Right.
So I need to be a defensive driver because I need to be able to drive for other folks. So they don't know that I'm an amputee. They don't know that I don't know how to drive.
Is your fear of driving connected with what happened with you?
No, that's why I want to drive because I wasn't driving. Someone else's. My life was in someone else's hands.
I got you.
So that's why I want to learn how to drive so bad. So
okay,
anything was to happen, it'll be on me instead of
ain't nothing gonna happen, but you're gonna learn how to park and that car.
I'm gonna get it. I got a video on TikTok of me driving. I'll be putting that out there. I'm gonna show y'all.
Okay. I want to see it.
Man, once I start driving, it's gonna be a wrap. Man, anybody gonna be behind me.
Y'all watch out. Coming.
25,000. I'm so serious.
But if you have any other questions for me at all, Plump or Jared?
I don't think so.
See, I'm kind of used to the podcast thing, so what I want to talk about is gonna be a whole show.
Okay. All right. Well,
because what you were saying, the process that you had to go through, you was talking about surgeries and all something that you said you tell us later. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want to know.
We'll deal with that another time, then.
See? Exactly.
Right. Plump, you something else. Right. Thank God. Yeah. Look here. But I'm gonna say this right here. For all you amputees out there, we created this podcast for you guys to have a platform to tell your stories. At some point, Jared will be sharing an email with you guys at some point to send your stories in.
You want me to say it right now for everybody?
You can.
All right. Well, it's Amped Up Podcast 1 at Gmail. So AMPD,
right?
UP and PODCAST. So it's Amped Up Podcast, and then the number 1 at gmail.com.
So what will you be doing with this email when you guys tell them what you'll be doing when they send their letters in? Or their stories in.
Well, if you have your own story and you'd like to send it to us, we're going to try and get to them. We probably won't hit every single one because I'm sure there'll be plenty of them coming in.
Right.
But we want to share some stories of other people, what they had to deal with. The email could be for questions. If you've got questions for us or about something you're going through, maybe it's something that we dealt with that we can actually help you with, or do a little research and then help you with it. Just the email stuff, man. Questions and stories, and just send them in. We'll get to them if we can.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything to say before we anything you want to say, Pump, before we go out?
Oh.
Can't hear
I
you.
muted myself. Yeah, I muted
Nope.
myself. Sorry.
Okay.
I wanted to shout out all the people that's on the feed. That have a lot of people that are saying, making comments. So I want to shout out to all of them for being
Wow.
here and
Okay.
showing up.
All right.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in.
Hello, everybody.
And
Yeah.
all the people asking questions about chakras and third eyes. I think my little get up right here.
I saw that. Yeah.
This ain't that podcast, and we not talking about that here. But we could segue to something that I got plenty of podcasts and stitching content for that. So, but thank you for showing up. Appreciate y'all for being here. That's what I wanted to say,
Brother Jared.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to say before we end
the show? Hey, I thought it was a good beginning for a first show, and thanks to everybody for tuning in. Everybody's watching. Yeah, great.
Right. That's awesome. I also want to thank you guys for just all the hard work you guys have put in to get this thing going, and I want to let you know I really appreciate you guys or whatnot. And we've done a little work tonight, but there's a lot of more work to do. And are you looking at 3 people that are up for the challenge?
There you go.
That part.
All right, so we're gonna end. I'm gonna wrap this show up. Right now, I want to thank everybody for who's watching the show. Thank everybody for who's chatting on the side. I also want you to go to the page, like, share, and subscribe. And for those people that are looking at this on Facebook, if you want to chat with us on the show, you have to go in from the YouTube side of it. So, and for us to see your chats or whatnot. But I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and then I want to thank my 2 great co-hosts tonight for being so awesome.
I appreciate y'all for bringing me a part of the situation.
Right.
Amps for life. Let's get it.
I am for life. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thanks, guys. Later.